Hi everyone, welcome to OLM community meeting. Today is February 4th, 2025. Let me share my screen so that we can all look at the agenda. I'm positive that you can see my screen. Is that right?
Yep, we can see it.
Okay, great, thank you. So, the first topic, let's go through the old action items and checkpoint. So last week we had two action items. One was which carried over to this meeting, and then another one on Camilla to do a release candidate from operator controller after we basically did the monorepo, and she had already done that. So I checked it out. The other one is and say that we have Epic for everything still valid in that document, the roadmap document we have, and we kind of done with at least we have figured out the epics we already have matches with our roadmap document. Probably have to create some of the epics. We have a document on which we are working, and I did a pass, Camilla did a pass long back, and we probably have to sync again and then just close it, create the epics and then close it. Is that right, Camilla?
Yes, for sure. Um, it's a lot, right? What we try to do is like try to find all epics and try to keep a list only the things of we are not sure if the epic is right or we think that maybe it's required to raise a epic, right? That
Yeah,
is the point that we are trying to refine because the list is too big.
right. Okay. So yeah, we are making progress on that. Hopefully, we should be done soon. With respect to this one. Moving to discussion topics. Camila, you have the first two topics, and then I have one about demos. Do you want to go ahead with the topics, Camila?
Yes, for sure. The first one, it's about we try to find students if you want, right? Let's see if I can open I don't know if your folks are seeing me. Uh,
Do you want to share your screen?
no, no, for this one, no. Uh, so the idea that I was thinking was if someone has interest on that, if we as a team, if you are maintainers, think that it would be nice for operator lifecycle manage, the first term we cannot do because the timeline is for today, right? But we have the other terms, so we have a lot of time to think if he has any task, any initiative on the project that we think would be nice, we create the proposal. If accepted, we would mentor students. I would say that it would be good to at least have two mentors for each project, right? If we decide to move forward with that. And based in the experience that we did in the past uh, with other team members as well, uh, I think that we need to have something that can be very well defined. Like we need a RFC, something that the students will know exactly what needs to be done, right? For we guide the students. Then I would like to know what do you think, folks? If you think that is something interest, if someone has interest to mentor the students, if you someone has interest to try to think in the tasks that it could be assigned.
I think
So
this. Go ahead. Go ahead, Anil.
I was going to say that I'm always interested in stuff like this. I think especially before the pandemic, we were doing a lot of these things. And then since the pandemic, I don't think we've had headspace to even think about this. So I'm glad that we are at least talking about this again. But I guess the caveat here is, for example, something like the GSOC mentoring. I'd be really interested in doing something like that. But like you said, Camila, these things usually require us to have an RFC. Um, But then my question is, are we ready for any of these that you have on the list? Because I would usually like to have an RFC, which means a feature work proposed that is not in the critical path for us. And I don't know if there's any features that we are focusing on or if we even discussed in the last, 6 months or whatever, that is not in the critical path right now. So I'd say that for us to do something like this, it needs to be a little more like the discussion has to happen a little more ahead of time so that we can eventually come to a place where we have RFCs that are not in the critical path, but are also important enough that they're well defined and they've been written down and we can get, interns to do it for us. That's my 2 cents about this.
I agree with you in everything. I think if we try to do choose one, we need to think in the LFX term 2 and 3, right? Because the ETA is up to May and the other one up to July. So I think we would need to try to think about things that we need to do. Then we have this time to try to create a RFC, and then we do a proposal with the RFC. We can do like the proposal more generic, right? The proposal doesn't need the document. But I think it's hard for a student to try to figure out how to do the things if we don't have something very structured, right? Very well defined. Our goal is like help the person succeed.
Right. So I think TLDR is probably we need a little bit more time to first of all define, and this is probably my brain working from a utilitarian perspective, as in I am always looking for, okay, what's the core benefit of us putting effort in this? And I'm sure the BU will also, our employers that we are working for will also ask us the same question. Um, so sort of have those defined first and then pick this conversation back up. But essentially TLDR that I think is we need to have a little bit more discussion on and define and convince our stakeholders why and when and how we should do this. What are the benefits out of it, etc.
Based in our experience, Bryce also shared that in the past, right? Because Bryce, Varsha, and I, we was mentoring the Google summer program of Ecobi Builder. One of the cases, the folk start to help in the project. And in the next year also was a mentor with us from mentee start to be a mentor. So it was very nice. I think, of course, the project will win a feature, something like is something from our backlog. But I think it's more than this, right? I think it's something that will help us divulgate the project. Uh, like more people will be aware of the project. And also, I don't know, for me, I think it's a very nice experience. Like is you as a person, I think you learn so much with the student, right? You share a lot of things, the person share a lot of things. I think it professionally and personally also contribute with us. But for sure, we need to commit some time. In the past, I think 1-2 hours per week was the average that I spent trying to help the students.
Right. And also, these projects also get, so, even if you try to get a project into accepted in GSOC, there is no guarantee that it will be accepted. Um, they they do a lot of scrutiny and like, they pick out probably, they have some criteria to pick projects, which project should be part of Google Summer of Code. So if even it gets selected, it gets some eyeballs and some mind share. It's kind of spreads the news across. Okay, this community is looking for contributors, and people might come to know about your project, our project, through that also. Like especially the pool of people who look into this kind of stuff. So it's a positive thing, but obviously subject to condition of like how much availability and everything, whether a project get accepted or not. I would suggest that we start collecting ideas first and see because it needs some background work, right? I mean, you have to have the RFC, have the work planned out a little bit, more before the person joins for rules of code or other LFX stuff. So start collecting the information, see if people are interested, and then if we have some interest, some mentors are there, then we can definitely apply for it as a OLM community. But I think it's an individual choice, and also see how much interest we have from other mentors.
I'm all win. If someone wants to pair, I'm all win.
Yeah, I think we should start having a document and see how many topics we have on this. Like, I think one thing Anik said, I agree with them, right? Those projects should not be on the critical path. So do we have projects which are not on critical path but have it's a very good project to have, and it's going to add a lot of value to the project. And if you can find out those kind of projects, I think great. Cool. Looks like nobody has anything else on this topic, so we'll move to the next topic. Camilla, you have another topic. Do you want to talk about it?
Thank you, thank you, folks. The next one I bring it from the last week. I don't know. I saw that I didn't make notes, so sorry if we reach out to a consensus. I don't remember. It's about the metrics. I don't know if we still needing to discuss. If we want to discuss to see if we can close it this one, or if we decide that we will leave it there, if you want to add the feature or not, or if you still needing try to think more about that.
Right. This is basically you are looking for reviews on your PR 1616, right? Camilla?
And yeah, that is the document, right? We one of the things that motivates the feature, we try to put the metrics behind of the feature gate was make it clear that the metrics endpoints can change and the ports, things like that. So in that pull request for the documentation has a warning note that we are trying to clarify these things as well.
Right.
If you go in the file, change it maybe.
That's
Yeah.
review comments and everything, but I think
Yeah. Yeah. So something for we clarify that as well, that the metrics can change. But I don't know if you still want to put that behind a feature flag.
right. Anybody have any comments? Okay. Moving. I think Camilla, that's all right. Move to the next topic. Thanks, Camila. So next was demos. We never, I mean, maybe I'm not sure about OLMV0 because I was not part of the community when for the OLMV0. I joined, last year when we were doing OLMV1. So we had discussion about doing demos here somehow, we could adding a lot of features, but we have been very busy and we never came back to this topic. I'm just wondering, I definitely, in my opinion, we should do some of the feature demos. It would help, and also have it recorded somehow, recorded and put it in our channel, OLM channel, the way we put our this meeting. So that people who wants to know about this feature from community can go to the demo and see it and learn about it. Uh, Definitely positive thing. We can use the same this meeting for also demos. I don't think we need a separate meeting, but I just want to know like what do you all think about doing demos here as well. Here with respect to the features we're adding to the OLMV1.
I'm only worried that we might be adding a lot to the agenda because we have so much to begin with. But it's an interesting idea. We could start trying it.
Yeah, if it
It's
is Go ahead,
Sorry,
Eric.
I was going to say that even though we do have a lot on our agenda, it's not like we are, using up all the time every time or going over. So we might have some time to do some demos. It's just like I feel like it's a lot to cramp it inside one meeting, but always up for trying new ideas.
Yeah, I mean we can see the demo. I mean sometimes we have time actually I feel like, and if it is like if you realize once we start doing it and we realize we need more time, then we can definitely have a separate meeting. We can figure out. But I think the question is, if everybody feels positive about doing demos, then we can probably start doing demos in this meeting and see how it goes. Like I think, but
I was
somebody.
gonna ask, are we saying that we will have a specific separate demo section, or are we saying that this is an encouragement to individuals to bring in their demos and add in that agenda item?
Yeah, I mean we have a template, so you can my suggestion would be to add a section here for demos, and then if there is any demo somebody wants to do, we can put it as part of that, and it can be after discussion topics before the roadmap check-in. We can put a section here. So every time somebody has a demo, can put it there, and we can cover it as part of the meeting.
Sounds like a plan, and I think you have a +1 from Joto in the chat for demos.
Great, awesome. Okay, so that's a positive. So I'm going to go ahead and add a section here as demos. Thanks, folks. Cool. Moving to roadmap check-in. We did some of the discussion in the last meeting to kind of order some of these, and I don't. So I don't think we will need any changes, but we'll see. Currently, if you see here, we have implementing catalog view web interface performance improvements, and then the permission validation pre-flight check is in designing. I feel like this is actually have moved from designing to implementing. Is that right, Taylor? Should I move this from designing to implementing, or this should be in designing?
Yeah, sorry, do you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you. Yeah,
Okay, sorry, yeah, just messing with AV.
no
Yeah,
problem.
we're working on stuff in there. Brett's out, but yeah, thank you.
Cool. Cool. Thank you. So all of these things, I think the performance and scale, is currently no status. Daniel, is it should be no status, or should I move to designing?
That's in designing.
Awesome. Thank you. The next one is initial kubectl operator plugin updates for operator control and catalog D. Joe, I feel like this should be also in designing.
Uh, I don't think we've started really any design discussion for it yet, unless someone else has.
I mean, the last week's, obviously we didn't have a lot of discussion, but last week's meeting, I think we did have some design discussions, right?
Yeah, but there's still no doc or anything that that we've come out with. So I sort of hesitate to put something in design until at least we have a draft of a doc.
Okay, that makes sense. No, that's cool. Awesome. So yeah, so right now, so this is how the queue looks like. Initial kubectl operator plugin updates. Then the help admins determine necessary permission for bundle recycling, life cycling, sorry, not recycling, life cycling. And then support registry view and bundles that include CSV with webhooks. And then support watch namespaces via parameterization for registry view and bundles and extension API. So this is how the queue looks like for us. This one after implemented. So this epic depends on 988 and 14224, which is this one, right? 988 is permission validation pre-flight check. So while this is done, we'll come back to this epic. Okay. So everything looks all right here. Any comment, any suggestions before I move to close this? It looks like, because in my opinion, we are the dashboard looks all right now, and we have certain few things in priority order. So nothing to do much, right now on this in this dashboard. Okay, cool. So that's all of our agenda. Unless anybody have anything to talk about or discuss, we are actually done for today.
So the one thing to probably call out is Lala, if you go back to the Epic view,
Okay.
The catalog the web interface performance improvements, the
Mhm.
PR for that, that closes most of the issues is done. So I just moved that 1603 and 1606 to close because the PR associated with them merged. So the only thing that's sort of holding up this epic from being marked as done is the benchmarking. And I know it's in there with the intention of yeah, Jordan, you probably already have your hand up because you know the question that's coming up. So the question basically is, are we still sure that this is where we want to track this and hold up this epic from being marked as done?
Yeah, so I do have thoughts, but I have thoughts in two directions. So the first one is that I know as a result of the PR that you were discussing there that we merged, we have a bunch of follow-up activities that we wanted to take place before we wanted to. I thought the consensus was before we wanted to consider that done, and so maybe we just need to talk a little bit more in detail offline about that. I guess I'm of the opinion personally that we haven't actually completed that implementation there, as long as we have hot button items that we've identified to resolve before we feel that this is GA-able. And then as far as the benchmarking goes, I think we ought to move it out of this epic. I had done everything to remodel this particular issue so that it would be aligned with the epic that's 920. I just forgot to remove it from its parent epic. That's all. So
Okay, no,
I can do that.
fully in agreement that the follow-ups needs to be done before we mark this epic as done. I'm on it. I'll be opening PRs to make sure that we get as close to done as possible before I go on PTO. But I specifically wanted to also get clarification about this API benchmarking, which it sounds like no, it should be moved to a different epic. So thank you for that. But
Yeah.
again, just to restate,
And
fully
finish your
on board
thought.
that we need to. I was just going to say fully on board that we need to finish the follow-ups before we mark the epic is done.
Yeah, and if you're more comfortable with closing out that third bullet there to match the PR, if you would just go and create issues for the follow-ups and put it under this epic, then it would help communicate that while we hit a good chunk of progress, that we do still have some additional work that we want to make sure we get captured. That's all.
I was gonna say I think I already have the issues created, but I can work offline to get them listed here too.
Beautiful. Thank you.
Thank you.
Awesome. Looks like we got it sorted. Anything else before we close this meeting? Awesome. Thanks everyone, and have a good rest of the day or evening. Talk to you later. Bye.
Bye. Great day.